Hello and welcome to another VFL taster video into some courses we have coming up soon. Now you may have caught Alex's video on Tuesday, which is about vegan baking. If not, you can view it on Facebook and it's excellent, well worth checking out. But today we're going to be having a little taster into vegan cheese making. My name's Ollie, I'm a roving chef of Vegetarian for Life, and I'm going to be taking you through this video. So today we're going to make vegan mozzarella. It uses a few ingredients. We've got some familiar ingredients, some not so familiar. So we're going to be using some cashew nuts, just raw, untouched cashew nuts. We're going to be using some vegan vegan yogurt. This one's from Tesco's. It's got vegan yogurt cultures in it, and it's a soy yogurt. You could also use a coconut yogurt, as long as it's not too coconutty, so it's not going to dominate the flavour. We're also using some nutritional yeast. This one is fortified with B12. This is an ingredient you might not be so familiar with, but it's in most supermarkets now. It's a dried, inactive yeast, which is really good for vegans. It's packed full of vitamins, and it's really good for sauces and cheesy type things. So we're going to be using this. We're also going to use sea salt and tapioca starch, which is quite, if you're a chef, you're watching this, it's an ingredient that you may have used especially in Asian cooking. So it's not a weird ingredient really. And agar, which is a derivative of seaweed. And the equipment we're going to need is a medium pan. Going to need a blender. I'm using a NutriBullet, but you could use your food processor that you probably have in your kitchen, or Vitamix or something like that. Spatulas, and that's about it. So we're going to get in the kitchen in a minute. My kitchen's very small, so you're going to have a slightly different view. But hopefully you'll get a good perspective of all the different processes we're going to go through. And I'll just tell you a little bit more about VFL. So VFL is an organisation, a charity which helps older vegetarians and vegans. We do lots of free work, we do lots of courses, we do lots of training. We can come into your kitchen if you're in a care home and work with your chefs, help improve menus. It's a great charity, and if you wanted to make donations, you can go on the website and do so, so we can continue doing the great free work we do. This course is a half-day course. It's £65. And you'll get to learn loads more about cheeses, you'll get to learn about different textures and flavours, you'll learn more about fermentation, loads of great things. But today I'm just going to give you a little taster into mozzarella. This is a really pleasing recipe, it's just awesome texture, it really replicates the real thing, so I hope you enjoy it. Let's get in the kitchen. So the first thing we do is we take our soaked cashew nuts. So these have been in the fridge overnight, soaked up loads of water, and then I just drained them. So I've got 75 grams of cashew nuts into your blender of choice, and then we take the vegan yogurt, exactly the same amount as the cashew nuts. Well, it's actually 120 grams, but physically looks the same amount. So that goes in as well. then we add some nutritional yeast. So if you've not heard about nutritional yeast, this is a wonderful vegan product. It's often fortified with B12, and it's got a lovely tangy taste which lends itself to sort of sauces and if you want to replicate cheese. So we're going to be using it a lot on this course. So I want about 10 grams, 5 to 10 grams of the nutritional yeast. And then I'm also going to add a sprinkle of salt, so about a teaspoon of salt. And then we're just going to put that into the blender and try and create a nice, smooth consistency. So this is going to be a bit noisy. Make sure you scrape down the sides. If you're using something like this, a NutriBullet, obviously you'd be using a food processor or whatever blender you have in the kitchen. It's suitable for this. The cashew nuts have been soaked, so they're nice and soft, so they blend quite easily. There we go, so we've got a lovely, silky, smooth consistency. And now, just gonna get that into a container, or you could put it in a bowl and then cover it with cling film, especially if you were making a large amount. Big mixing bowl with cling film over the top. And this is going to then ferment. We're going to leave it for between 12 to 24 hours in the fridge, and then we will move on to stage 2. So I now have my fermented cheese mixture, which has been fermenting for about 16 hours. Like I said, you can do it between about 12 to 24 hours. If you sign up for the course, you'll learn loads more about the fermentation process. It takes a long time. And to this, I'm going to add tapioca starch. So I'm going to add about 3.5 tablespoons into this mixture. And this is tapioca starch is made from the roots of the cassava plant. It's used in lots of Asian cooking and South American cooking, and it's really good sort of binder, and in this recipe it's going to make it super stretchy and give it that kind of mozzarella cheesy consistency that we really need. So I'm just going to mix that into the fermented mixture we have, and then that will get set to the side, and I will show you what we're going to do next. So yeah, it's kind of a powdery, thick mixture, a bit like arrowroot or something like that, like a thick binder. You actually could use arrowroot as well, and it's a bit like cornstarch as well, I guess. So try and mix that into the mixture, make sure there's no lumps, and then we will set that just to sit to the side while I get on with the next task. So what we do next, we're going to add, I'll bring you over here to my pan. And we are going to add about 1 cup of water. I say about, it's got to be quite precise, this recipe. So 1 cup, and that's about 240 millilitres of water. So that goes into our pan, and we put that on the boil, and this is where we add our agar. So agar is a really good thickener. It's an excellent vegan substitute to gelatin, so you can use it in like jellies and things. It can thicken soups. Yeah, it's a really excellent vegan product. It's made from various red seaweeds extracted from the cell walls, and yeah, it's not an everyday ingredient, but it's getting a bit slightly more ubiquitous in supermarkets and things. So this is agar powder. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix that into the water. I'm going to try and bring that to a boil. And I want to constantly stir this. Keep it constantly moving. I want all that agar to dissolve. And it's going to start to thicken. Become like a thick solution. So we're going to bring that to the boil. And then we're just going to let it simmer for about 4 minutes. So that's just coming to the boil now. You can see it's really thickened up, become a bit more paste-like. So now I'm going to reduce that temperature and just let it simmer and keep on stirring it. So just keep a gentle stir like this, and on a very gentle heat as well. And it's becoming really jelly-like, and it's nice and smooth, there's no lumps. There we go. So you can find this online, but like I said, there's more supermarkets selling it now. You can either find it in flakes, or I'm using a powder. If you use the powder, you need a bit less. But if you check out the recipe, I've got the measurements for both flakes and powder. And it's a very neutral tasting thing, which again is good. It also withstands heat really well. In fact, much better than gelatin. So it's a much more useful ingredient than gelatin, in fact. And of course it's entirely vegan. It's very cheap as well. Very cheap product. So it's really good if you want to include it in any sort of gelatin replacements in your vegan cooking. So it's kind of changed colour slightly. It's kind of slight yellow colour. Don't know if you can see that. And it's continuing to thicken. So I'll just give this a couple more minutes on the heat. And like I said, just keep it moving, otherwise it's just going to congeal, it's going to stick, and it'll just ruin everything. So scrape it down from the sides, it'll start to stick, and if it's getting too hot, just take it off like this, move it around, and just keep it moving. Turn that heat down slightly more, and it's pretty much there now, I'd say. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to add our tapioca cheesy mixture, fermented mixture that we've got over here. So I'm just going to bring this across, turn the heat off just while I add it. And then scrape all of that in, get it all mixed in. And you want to be quite quick. And this point is kind of a crucial period. So try and get it in as quickly as possible. Use a spatula like so you can get all the sides. And there we go. And then get it all mixed in. Get the heat back on, a very low heat, and we're just gonna mix it all together, and we are going to let it simmer for around 7 to 10 minutes, and then we will go on to the next stage. So while you're letting that simmer, you don't have to stir this constantly. I want you to get a big mixing bowl and fill it with water and get some ice in it as well, because that's going to be the next stage. So you can see it's really starting to thicken now, becoming really sort of viscous, really gooey. It's going to stick at the sides, so you want to bring those bits down. Keep it moving around, and keep it on the gentle heat as well. So this has now been on the heat for about 6 minutes, and as you can see, it's got really thick, lovely, sticky but still smooth. Haven't been stirring it constantly, but just making sure it doesn't stick, scraping down the sides and bringing it all together. So it's kind of like a thick dough ball at the moment. I'm just going to leave that on the heat for another minute or so, and then what we're going to do is create our mozzarella balls. So if you've got an ice cream scoop or something like that, you could even do it with just a dessert spoon. That's just ideal to create the sort of shape you want. I'm just going to use my small tablespoon measure. I don't actually have a ice cream scoop at the moment, so I'm going to create little mozzarella balls. So make sure you've got your bowl of water with ice. That's just going to kill the heat, and it's going to help sort of solidify those balls. So we're nearly ready. It's really thick, really sticky. Just bring it all together. Get all those bits down from the side. And bring it all together. And then we can probably turn off the heat now. So just one last scrape it all together. And then we can start creating our mozzarella balls. So I've got my ice water here. And then just grab a ball like so. And drop it in the water. So it's kind of a messy job, but it's quite nice. I quite like it. So yeah, get it into the water like so. You could also use another spoon to help lever that mixture out. So like into your measure and then just pop it out like so. And there you go. I don't know if you can see that, but you've got, it looks exactly like a sort of buffalo mozzarella, mini buffalo mozzarella balls. So just drop it in your ice water and that'll just kill the heat and it'll bring it all together and you'll get a nice solid ball, which will also be nice and stretchy. You can use it on pizzas, it will melt, or you can slice it up, use it in salads, put it on ciabatta, sarnies, everything you would use a regular cow's milk or buffalo milk mozzarella. So there we have all my mozzarella balls. I've been able to make about 10 balls from that recipe. That was a half recipe from the one you'll have below. So you could make 20 small balls like that, or if you're using an ice cream scoop, you can make about 10 large mozzarella balls. So that's going to sit in the ice water for about 30 minutes and then it's ready to use. Go in the fridge, it'll keep for a week. So here we have our finished mozzarella balls. They've sat in the ice water for about 30 minutes and they're ready to go. So if I just get one out, it's exactly like a mozzarella, buffalo mozzarella ball. Same texture and weight and stretchiness. So you can just slice this up, it can go in your salad, or you can melt it on a pizza or onto a ciabatta. It's got a really good taste, I hope. Really good, really tangy, really cheesy. You could put more salt, more of the nutritional yeast if you want, your personal preference. But there you go. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Remember to check out our website, vegetarianforlife.org.uk. We've got loads of resources, loads of recipes. You can see more of the work we do. You can buy merchandise like these wonderful aprons. And we will announce the dates of these courses in due course. Obviously, due to the current circumstances, we're unable to do that at the moment. But yeah, please keep in touch and we hope to see you soon.